Hello everybody, welcome back to Renee in the Middle. I am Renee, obviously. If you are new here, thank you for tuning in, and those that have watched in the past, thank you again for watching my video. So today's video is a July reading wrap-up. And some of these books are books that I read for the Summerween 2022 challenge. So let's get into it. The first book I read, I had it, but I think I brought it to work to put into my middle school library, was Me, My Dad, and the End of the Rainbow by Benjamin Dean. I'll pop up a little picture of the cover. I gave this book 5 stars. It's a middle grade read, and it follows Archie, who is learning to deal with the fact that his parents have separated, and then to top things off, his dad informs him that he is gay. So Archie is having a hard time finding a common ground, a bonding with his dad, wondering, you know, what went wrong, what does this mean for the future of our family? And so he finds this flyer for the Pride festivities in downtown London. So Archie decides that he's going to take a couple of his friends, and they're gonna say that they're somewhere else, but they're gonna go down to the Pride festivities to see if he can find out what he can do to make his dad feel comfortable, to have a different relationship with his dad. And it's just like this sort of like a coming of age, you know, working with changes in families. And I love how the author Benjamin Dean tackled the obstacles of, one, a separation between parents, and then 2, adding a little bit more depth into it of one of those parents being gay. And I loved it. I felt like he had awesome characters in the book, and I think Benjamin Dean has some other books that I want to look into and read, because I really liked him as an author. That was my first time reading a Benjamin Dean book, and I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. So the next book I read, The Magic Misfits by Neil Patrick Harris. So I listened to this book, and I was really hoping to like it more. I only gave it 3 stars. It just wasn't my cup of tea. There are 4 in the series. I might try the second one actually reading it to see, because I mean, the premise is really interesting. You know, the misfits come together and bond a friendship through magic acts, and the main character, what was his name? Dante Carter. I can't remember which one was the main one, but he discovers some things about his family. I mean, it has a premise to be really good. I don't know if I should reread it by actually reading the book, because maybe I was listening to the book while I was mowing or, you know, doing chores, and maybe I wasn't paying close attention, but I really wanted to like it. I think it's such a cool cover, and the spine is pretty neat. And there's some cool illustrations inside. But yeah, I really wanted to like it. So maybe I'll try the second one to see if actually reading the book will help me a little bit. It is a middle grade read. I mean, look at these illustrations. Those are cool too. Look at that guy's mustache. Now that is a circus mustache if I've seen one. So I might try the second one just to see if it was because I was multitasking, because sometimes multitasking is a bad thing. So we will see. The next book I read, one, it's had a great hype. It's been on my shelf. A friend had shared it with me a while ago, and I've been wanting to get to it. Well, then the movie was coming out, and the book club that I had put together last year at work wanted to go see the movie as a group, and I hadn't read it yet, and I prefer reading the book before I go see the movie. So I read Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens, and I gave this 5 stars. I did feel like it started out a little slow, but I really enjoyed it. I was trying to guess who had killed the character, and my mind just kept changing who the culprit was, and then at the end I was like, but they did a good job of tricking you into trying to figure out who actually killed the character in here. So I really liked it, and I didn't get to make it to the movie. Unfortunately, some family members had got COVID and I wasn't feeling well, and I didn't want to risk getting anybody else sick that was going to the movie. That's not fair. Even though I didn't have COVID, I wasn't feeling great. I tested negative, but I still felt like I should stay home. So I still have to go see the movie. It is an adult read. Like I said, I try to keep the books that I read middle grade or young adult, just so that I get a better understanding to help recommend books for students that come into my library. But every once in a while, I gotta try some adult reads. So Where the Crawdads Sing, I gave a 5 star. The next book is Daughter of the Deep. This book by Rick Riordan was also not my cup of tea. I did listen to this one, but I was paying better attention to this one. The storyline is really cool, and I think anybody that is a huge Rick Riordan fan would like this, but I just couldn't get into it. I did give it 4 stars. I do feel that I have a couple of students that I already know that I will recommend them to read this, but it just wasn't for me. I do like the fact that it was based in the ocean. I love all things ocean. So I didn't like the fact that they made what was that thing called? The Nautilus that they found down at the bottom of the ocean. It was like it was alive, and it wasn't for me. I don't know. And it is a middle grade read, so, but I would definitely recommend it to anybody that is into the Rick Riordan books. I read The Lightning Thief. Don't come at me, but it's just that kind of story just isn't for me. I never read past that. I never tried any of his other books. I guess that's kind of bad of me for working in a middle school library. Maybe I should try at least books 1 of his other series too, just to kind of get a feel for it. But the cover is pretty cool. I like that cover, the Nautilus, and they're down at the bottom of the ocean, and there's a little octopus that is the main character, her friend. She's always interacting with it, so I thought that was kind of cool too. But I'm sorry, it wasn't for me. 4 stars. Okay, so the next couple of reads are books that I read for the Summer Ween Readathon, and I only have 1 physical book with me, so the other ones I'll just pop a little image of the books onto the computer. But the first book I read was Hide and Seeker by, I don't know how to pronounce the author's name, and I apologize, Daka Herman. This book I gave a 5 stars to. This is a middle grade scary read, and it gave me big Stranger Things vibes. There was this alternate town, kind of like the Upside Down in Stranger Things, but I didn't want to stop reading this book. It follows these middle school students who they play a game of hide and seek, and then all of a sudden the next day one of them has disappeared, and one of their friends had disappeared and came back and was acting really weird, and so they went over to his house to kind of give a welcome back party, and he was just really weird. He was saying some weird things. He was trying to hurt himself. He was pounding on walls, and one by one they each disappear, and they try to figure out who's taking them, where are they going, what happened to their friend that had just come back, and they discover this alternate dimension that is their town, but dark, like I said, very much like the Upside Down. It was really good. I know many students that I'm going to recommend read this when school starts up again, which is just right around the corner. So again, Hide and Seeker, I read it for Summerween and I gave it 5 stars, middle grade read, scary, couldn't put it down, great book. I'll have to look in to see if that author has other books, because it was really good. And then I read Horror Hotel by Victoria Fulton. I gave that 4 stars. It is a young adult book, and I also read that for Summerween. If any of you love TV shows that are paranormal, where they're like ghost hunting and they go to these abandoned or most haunted locations, this book would be right up your alley. It's exactly what they do. There's a couple of friends that have a YouTube channel, and they're like paranormal ghost hunters. One of the characters can actually see and interact with ghosts, and so they record her interacting with ghosts when they go to these different locations, and the person that is heading up the YouTube channel really wants to hit 1 million subscribers so he can get his little plaque, and so they go to this horror hotel where people keep turning up dead, and it's still open to the public. Half of it is a hostel where people, just like vagrants, can come and stay, and it was good on that aspect. It was a little I gave it 4 stars just because, I mean, I wasn't really disappointed in it, but I guess it could have been a little better. But I definitely would recommend it to any student that wanted kind of like a scary story around Halloween or a thriller, because it does get a little descriptive at times. So, and it seems like preteens and teens really like that kind of story. Not sure why. I mean, I guess we all kind of go through that phase. How scared can I make myself? So I would definitely recommend it to them. So Horror Hotel by Victoria Fulton, I gave 4 stars, and that was for Summerween. The last book I read, well, I actually listened to it, was The Keeper by Guadalupe Garcia McCall, and it is a middle grade read, and I gave it 4 stars. I really liked this book. It follows a family that is grieving from the loss of a grandparent, a mother. They move to the United States, and they're just trying to get a fresh start. They're very into their culture, and when they move to this neighborhood, things are really different. It's their own little community. And one day, the male protagonist discovers a letter kind of like just warning them of things that are going on in the neighborhood, and to just be careful of the keeper. They want to keep things tidy around the area. And then he starts digging into the history of the town, and they kind of use their culture in terms of what they find out is going on. They discover that many children have gone missing, and I don't want to give any spoilers away. There's some more stuff behind it that they discover. And I just really liked how the author wrapped the culture of the family into the story. They had lost their grandmother slash mother, and some things that she had taught them growing up or said to them helped them cope with what they were discovering. And I just felt like the author did a really good job writing the story, and I would definitely read another book by this author. So the last book I had read for July was The Keeper by Guadalupe Garcia McCall. And again, I gave that a 4-star, and it's a middle grade read. So that is going to wrap up the books that I read for July. I hope you enjoyed the list. Maybe you want to try some of them. Maybe you have already, and if you have, leave me a comment below on what you rated the book or your thoughts on the book. I would love somebody else's perspective on some of these, how they liked them. And I guess I will just see you in the next video. I hope everybody has a great rest of their summer, and I will see you soon. Bye.